Good morning, boys and girls of upper secondary school, students of Buddhist Sunday school and Dharma classes, youth members, college students, parents and grandparents who are guiding the younger ones on moral education. Good morning. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. We are now going to have a presentation based on a story titled The Starfish, a story with life lessons. Now, this presentation has altogether 12 slides, and the story is quite an interesting and meaningful one. And we will go over the story before we look at the life lessons that we can learn and apply in our life so that we can be more happy, peaceful, and wise in our living. Now, the text of this presentation are in English and Chinese, but the narration will be in English. We will now show the PowerPoint and I will comment together with the narration and explanation of the story. So now let us launch the PowerPoint from the beginning. So you see the cover slide of this presentation titled The Starfish, a Story with Life Lessons. Now, I think you know what a starfish is. The picture is shown. It lives in the ocean or the sea, and sometimes the tides will bring them to the shore. Right? And you will see the danger when these starfish are washed to the shore. Now, that is this cover slide. You can also read the Chinese. Now, let us go on to the next slide. Before that, I think I can take out my video. Once upon a time, in a serene seaside town, there lived an old man who had a unique morning ritual. Of course, this is just a story, but it's a very meaningful one. So in a very peaceful, serene seaside town, there lived an old man. And he has a very unusual and special ritual, something like, an activity you carry out day in, day out, becomes like a habit. Before beginning his day's work, he would stroll. He would take a walk along the beautiful beach, taking in the soothing sights and sounds of the ocean. So he would walk along the ocean and enjoy the very peaceful sights that you could see in the early beginning the day's work, early morning. And the sounds are the waves rolling, hitting against the beach. So this daily practice, every day he would do that, would bring him peace and joy because it was very quiet and peaceful. Early morning, nobody would be around. So you could see this old man walking along the beach by the ocean, or if you want, you could also say the sea. Now, so that is the animated picture of the rolling waves that hit the beach, right? The beach. One Sunday morning, He followed his usual path along the shore, savoring the feel of the cool sand beneath his feet and the rhythmic sound of the waves. But as he walked farther, he noticed something unusual. So you can picture that early sunny morning, the sun about to rise. So he, as usual, would take the stroll along the ocean beach, or you can say the beach by the side of the sea, and he would enjoy the feel of the cool sand. Of course, the picture shows he's wearing slippers, right? But he could be barefooted lah. Beneath his feet. And of course, when the waves roll, they would make very special rhythmic sounds. I think you would have heard the sounds of waves rolling, hitting into the ocean shore or the seashore. But then, that morning, when he walked further on, he noticed something very unusual. The beach was covered with starfish. Now you could see the picture here, right? The starfish, so many starfishes, so this also would show this, and this is actually there is some animation. Just join up, right? And the starfish will now wash to the beach, the ocean beach, and there were thousands of them stretching as far as the eye could see in both directions. That means all along the beach, thousands of these starfish wash into the ocean beach, the beach there. Now, what would happen? So that was what he noticed. You see, and these are all just pictures to help you understand better and to make the presentation more interesting. As he pondered on the scene, his attention was drawn to a tiny figure in the distance. Pondered means to like think over or reflect, looking at the thousands of starfish along the beach, you see. So he was thinking, very, very strange. And then he was caught, or his attention was drawn to one thing, and that was a tiny figure, actually a very maybe small person walking in the distance. You could see here that this tiny figure was actually a small girl, and she was walking towards him actually, all right? Walking towards him. This animated picture helps to show you, right, the things more clearly. So soon, of course, he could see that it was a little girl, and the little girl was making her way towards him. You could see this already. Each step punctuated or followed, each step followed by a pause, a stop, to pick up a starfish and lovingly toss it into the ocean. So what was the little girl doing? So as she was walking along the beach, she would pick up one by one of a starfish and then very, very lovingly, full of metta and compassion, he would toss the starfish into the ocean. Now, you could see this picture here, tossing the starfish into the ocean waters. Her actions were brimming with compassion and determination. From what the old man observed, this little girl was doing that action of picking up a starfish and then look at it lovingly and toss it back into the ocean waters. And she did this with full of compassion and determination. That was a very unusual thing to do, isn't it? So that was what the old man noticed. Let us move to the next slide. which is slide number 5. When the girl finally reached the old man, he greeted her with a warm smile. So the girl reached the old man. So she was close to the old man already. So she greeted the old man with a very warm smile. And just these animated cartoons that I put in just to give you a better idea and to make it more interesting. So what did the old man say to her? "Good morning, little princess," he said, his curiosity aroused. Means he was very, very curious about this little girl picking up the starfish and tossing back into the ocean. So he was very, very curious lah, why she did that. So he was very, very curious already. So then he continued to ask the little girl, "May I ask about what you are doing?" So he asked the little girl why she was doing the thing that she was doing, picking up a starfish and then tossing back into the ocean. With a sparkle in her eyes. Sparkle means like maybe very bright and twinkling, sparkle, shining. The little girl answered back, "I'm throwing starfish into the ocean," she said. Ah, so you could actually get a better picture by looking at the images. Now you see the little girl walking and could see thousands or lots of these starfish along the beach. And then she would, one by one, take one starfish at a time, and then with full of compassion and metta, toss it back into the ocean. That was what she was doing. Let us now go on to the next one. Puzzled but intrigued, the old man asked further, "But why are you doing this, my dear?" Of course, the old man was surprised, puzzled, and he was actually intrigued. Intrigued means he was fascinated, right? He was aroused at the action. He was aroused in the task that the girl was doing out of curiosity. You could say fascinated, very fascinated. So then the girl answered, the girl answered with a smile. "You see, the tide brought these starfish onto the shore, and they can't return to the ocean on their own. By midday, when the sun is scorching, they'll wither away. Unless I help them back into the ocean, the starfish will die." So that was what the little girl answered with a smile. So she explained that because of the tide, the waves bringing the starfish onto the shore, bringing the starfish onto the shore, and of course they will be sort of stuck on the shore there. They couldn't walk. The starfish, they are actually ocean or sea creatures, right? So as the day grew, so when noon came, of course, then she explained, by midday, by the time of 12 p.m., then the sun will be very, very hot, scorching, burning already, Then they would die already. Because too long on the beach, without going back into the waters, they would die. So the little girl explained, "Unless I help them back into the ocean, the starfish will die. If I don't take this starfish and throw it back into the ocean water, then they will die because very, very hot and they will wither away. You cannot stay too long on the dry land. They are sea creatures, you see. So that was what the little girl explained. Now let us now move on to slide 7. While deeply touched by her empathy, the old man felt compelled to convey the vastness of the task. Of course, the old man was touched by her compassion. Now, empathy actually means that sort of feeling of suffering of another creature and wanting to help lah. Empathy. That is empathy. And quite close to compassion. Compassion means wanting to relieve the suffering of another living being. So while the old man was touched by this girl's empathy, he felt that he had to compel, forced to tell the girl that the task was very, very big, too big, and it was in a way quite futile or useless because how could you save all the thousands of starfish on the beach, on the shore? So he explained to the little girl. But little girl, don't you realize that this beach stretches for miles and there are starfish scattered all along the coastline, along the beach? So there must be tens of thousands of them. Well, probably thousands of them or lots lah. So I'm afraid your efforts may not make a significant difference in the grand scheme of things. Wow. This old man was getting very like philosophical. No, she said, no, it's natural. There'll be so many wash to the shore already, and you doing this would not make much of a difference. How could you save all? There are so many of them on the coastline, on the beach there. So he was trying to tell her that her effort was useless, a waste of time, futile. How could you save so many, you see? So let us see what the little girl replied. Slide number 8. Unperturbed. Unperturbed means not at all disturbed in the mind. The mind was very steady, calm, full of metta and compassion. So what did the little girl do? She scooped up. Right? The old man was watching. Now you could see the picture there. Was watching her scoop up, which means to take up, to take up another starfish. And then gaze at it. Look at it closely. Full of tenderness, very gentle, full of metta, right? Very, very compassionate. And then she threw the starfish back into the ocean. She turned to the old man with a radiant smile, very bright smile. Her eyes shining with hope. She said to the old man with firm resolve, with determination, she believed in her task. She said, I certainly make a difference to that one starfish. So she was trying to tell this old man, because the old man said, what difference would it make? There are thousands of them you couldn't save any, save them all. So it is a futile, useless task. But the little girl just responded this way. She took up one starfish, looked at it with love and compassion, tenderness, and then threw it back into the ocean, as you could see the picture there, and told the old man, I certainly make a difference to that one fish that I threw. So it was a very, very unique sort of response and the sort of action, spontaneous, very sincere, full of determination. So the old man sort of got the lesson already. So the story actually uh, ends this way. So this starfish story in parts tells us a very meaningful life lessons, very deep life lessons for us to think about and to apply in our life. Oftentimes, we hesitate to act, waiting for others to initiate change. We think, yeah, this thing that I do is very, very small. It's a very small thing. So what's the use? Daunted by the scale of the challenges, some people would consider that, the task will be a very big one, so would not take that challenge. And others will follow also, would not do. They would think, can I make a difference? Just as for example, if you have a beach littered with a lot of rubbish and so on, a lot. So then there's a this little boy out of goodness, so well, who start picking up some of the rubbish, right, and then disposing it in the plastic bag and then to bring it to the proper place. But there is so much rubbish. So most people will think, what's the difference? There's so much rubbish still there, no use. So that's sort of thinking, Whereas if more people act just like the little boy collecting the rubbish, then it will make a very fantastic difference, isn't it? So if many people imitate, like say the little boy collecting the rubbish, then definitely it will bring very good results. You see. So this story has a very meaningful thing, that we are like apathetic. That means can't be bothered. No, what difference does it make? Right? There are still so many things like that. Like everybody thinks like that, it will be terrible, isn't it? So this is the very important life lesson. That is slide number 8. So the comments following the story is this. You ask, what difference does it make? The task is so challenging, so adapting that sort of don't bother attitude, refusing to do just even that small act of kindness. So the answer is simply very clear. While you may not transform the entire world, you can certainly change a part of it. You might not be able to collect all the rubbish, let's say, on the seashore or in one environment, but you are doing your part. And if more people would do it, then of course you can bring about a change. And I put in this picture of Muhammad Gandhi saying, be the change you wish to see in the world. You wish to see in the world, let's say, in this case of the example of the rubbish, you want to see cleaner environment. So you take the action and don't just think no use one and the problem is so big, let it be lah. That's how attitude is not good. So you can be the change you wish to see. And if more people follow your example of taking that positive action born out of care, concern, and compassion, then we will certainly have better world to live in. So the compassionate action of the little girl teaches us yet another important life lesson. Never give up hope, no matter how formidable, how challenging, how big the task seems to be, the odds seem to be. That means the hope of success. You think no use one, nothing will come out of it. But you say never give up hope. So you see, it's a question of kindness and compassion. Never give up hope. So if more people have this sort of attitude, then of course we can bring about change for a better world, one step at a time. So you find the message is very, very good. So I put in these three pictures. No, quotation by this Mahatma Gandhi, be the change that you wish for. You always say, I want this, I want that, but you yourself, or we ourselves, don't do that. We think that the task is too big, is useless. I cannot change all the things. But bit by bit, then it becomes very big, isn't it? So it's all a question of kindness and compassion. And the other point is never give up hope. No matter how big the task people think it is, you are at least taking a positive action. You do your part, even though it's a small part, but later on you see the final one of concluding little by little, you find can become very, very big. Number 10. The little girl shows great noble qualities. Noble, very lofty, high qualities. No? And what qualities did she show? She was kind. She was full of metta. She had compassion. So these make her believe and have faith that if you put in a good effort out of your kindness and you take the action, that action can bring about meaningful results that can help make the world a better and more happy place to live in. I just explained just now already. So the little girl's goodness in her heart and mind is truly inspiring. Now you can see the picture here. The animated one, kindness is magic. Now you see this girl waters the plant with great love, compassion, and metta, and you get the results. It will grow with it, even though gradually it will grow. So the good effort will bring in meaningful results and grow into a plant. And then here you have another animation. Now, if you put in good effort with an honest, kind intention to help, to do your partner, then you actually are praiseworthy. So don't underestimate the little that you can do. So you can change the world. That means you do your part, right? You want the world to be like that, you do your small part. If more people like this and be inspired by you, then the world will definitely become a better place. So it's all a question of metta, compassion, kindness, uh, taking the positive action, and you will get the good results. See. Now, so that is number 10. Let us now go on to number 11. Now we will go to slide number 11. We come to the life lessons to learn already. We have gone over the story and also offered the comments and explanation. Now we are going to learn some life lessons that will help you to be more peaceful, happy, joyful, and wise in your life. So don't you think that is a very beautiful thing? So that is what we are going to do. So let us look at the first one. Number 1, a person with qualities of kindness, love, and compassion is most praiseworthy. Just as you can see in that kind, compassionate, gentle, loving, full of metta, the little girl there. But today you find people tend to think of themselves only, selfish. I let other people do lah. What can I do? I can't change the world. So that's all thinking makes the world more and more difficult and full of problems. That's why today you have problems all over because people tend to be selfish. If only you have this showing of kindness, love, and compassion. That is a very praiseworthy thing. Then let us go on to the next lesson. Number 2, to save the life of a sentient being. A sentient being means including animals. They have a life, they have life. Animals. And of course, what you see on our earth is human beings, animals. You are not able to see the spirits or the devas and so on. So we are confining ourselves maybe to saving the human beings or the animal. So even if you save the life of just one, because you have these qualities of kindness, compassion, and so on, it can make a difference. Apart from making the difference to that particular being that you have saved, being an animal, your good act will bring good consequences. Other people can be inspired by it. And if more people now follow your example, then there will be greater results, isn't it? So your good act brings good consequences. Of course, for that person doing it, he's actually or she's generating good karma. That's a very good, wholesome action. Not out of selfishness or greed or ego or things like that, but just spontaneous goodness of the heart, born out of compassion and metta. So the good act brings good consequences. That is a very important thing. Now let us go on to the next lesson. When people in the world show more kindness, compassion, and care for others, the world will be more happy and peaceful. Precisely. If only there are more and more people who are kind, who are compassionate, who show concern for the well-being of other living creatures, which means the animals and the people, and also concern for the environment, then our world will become a better place, isn't it? So the problem is today the world is full of people who are more concerned about their own well-being. They don't have that kindness or compassion to help others, human beings, animals, and the environment. So that's why you have so many problems today. Dukkha, you can see that. People just think of themselves and want to benefit. So, they do that type of foolish logging of the forest and then, building buildings at wrong places without proper planning and all those things, all want to gain money or fame. And you get the terrible consequences. And that is what is happening today. So it just cause effect, you see. So we hope that more people in the world will show more kindness, compassion, and care, concern for all sentient beings as well as the environment. Then, of course, if more people like that, then don't you think that the world will become more peaceful and happy if each person just does his part? That is this very beautiful lesson. Now let us go to the next one. Never underestimate even small acts of kindness. Many small such acts add up to a lot and the results are great. Some people say, what can I do? I'm just one person, right? You think if I go and clean the environment, then the whole world will be clean. There's a very, very selfish attitude that are very sarcastic also. And that sort of attitude is not good. You do your part, and even though if it's a small act of kindness, done with true compassion, concern, metta, and all this, then you are generating good karma. So never underestimate even a small act of kindness. Because if more people do these small acts of kindness, then imagine they will add up to a lot, isn't it? And the results will be great. But sad to say, we are not having many people with that sort of positive attitude and good qualities. So this presentation is to give you that very important message. We are now going to the last slide already. That is slide number 12. Now this pertains to reflection on the Dhammapada verse. Now this is the concluding slide. And I took this from the Dhammapada, which is one of the scriptural books in the Buddhist religion, from the Nikayas, you can say. Now, what does this Dhammapada verse 1 to 2 say? It says a very, very important thing. Think not lightly of good, saying, it will not come to me. Drop by drop is the water pot filled. Likewise, the wise man, gathering it little by little, fills himself with good. You just reflect on this very important message. Many people have that wrong attitude, say, what I do so little, what does it matter? What difference does it make? No good result will come to me. Dhammapada says no. You must not just think of the lightly, you just very indifferent or no conviction of the good that you are doing, even though it's a little thing like just picking up some rubbish or helping just one sentient being that is suffering, like an animal, for example. So you say, I will not get all those things. You should not. Then the analogy given is very good. It says you have a water pot. It's by one drop at a time, a little at a time, Then finally the water pot is filled. So if you likewise, the wise man, so if he does little acts of kindness over a long period of time, just like the pot is finally filled, then this person fills himself with so much good, and the results are fantastic. So that is this very important message. So here, of course, there is this image based on the Dhammapada, verse 1 to 2. So I hope that this presentation has conveyed to you very important life lessons that you can learn, reflect on, apply in your life, and you will definitely have lots of benefits. You are generating good karma, positive acts. And your life will be more peaceful, more joyful and happy, more meaningful. And isn't that wonderful? Because you have the right attitude and you develop the good qualities of metta, which is loving kindness, compassion, which is karuna in Pali, to feel and wanting to relieve the suffering of another person. So one out of these good qualities, you definitely will make the change. So I hope you all have benefited. So before we say sadhu 3 times, I would like to take this opportunity to thank boys and girls, usually directed at the upper secondary, more suitable is for the upper secondary, the upper primary, some very bright ones can follow. And then maybe the secondary and tertiary youth members, parents, and so on. Different people have different minds, isn't it? So whoever can follow, of course, they can benefit from this presentation. So to all of these people, I say sadhu and thank you. for taking time to follow this presentation and also spending your energy lah. You putting in your effort, good effort. And then also with your mindfulness and concentration, and you have really sacrificed your time to follow this. So I say sadhu, thank you to all of you. So before we conclude, as usual, let us put our palms together and say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May all of you who have been following this presentation be well, happy, peaceful, and may you always practice the true sublime Dharma diligently. And remember to show good, spontaneous acts of kindness and don't say that it is just a small thing. I think other people can do, all right? So that is the message. So thank you, all of you, and may you all be well, happy, peaceful, and remember to practice the Dharma very well. Sadhu.